everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Lots About Something podcast. This is the podcast where we, the Lots, talk always about something. It's never nothing. It's absolutely going to be something, and it's going to be good, and we're really glad that you're here. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes out of your day, out of your week, to hang out with us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Chris. I'm one of the hosts. And I am joined by my lovely bride. Some would say my better half. And I agree with that. Christy. How you doing, Christy?
Doing good.
Doing good. Hey, we need to get you a t-shirt that says doing good.
And we could sell it.
Sell it? Who's gonna buy a t-shirt that says doing good?
All our listeners out there.
All three.
Put in your sizes.
I will say this. I think we're up to like 6 listeners now. We're making moves. I think it's that German connection we had.
Yeah, I don't know her. It's our daughters. They both said their friends listen to the podcast.
That is true.
If they do, I'm going to give a little shout out to them.
All right, who are you giving a shout out to?
I think Willie said Gemma.
Gemma
Listens to the podcast, so
right.
Hi, Gemma.
Hi, Gemma.
And then Emma told us Story loves it.
Yeah.
She listens to it. So hi, Story, if you're listening.
Hi, Story. So what you're saying is...
we are reaching all age groups.
People our age think we're crazy, but our kids' friends love us. Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I'm okay with it.
Hey, we talk about good stuff.
We do talk about good stuff.
We're reeling in the little youngsters.
Youngsters?
The youngsters out there, they're like, wow.
I think when we use the phrase youngsters, we're no longer reaching youngsters when we use that phrase.
Well, the younger crew, we're reaching them too, so I think it's great.
We're a big hit with the youngsters.
But nowadays you don't know what your kids are listening to.
That is true.
So if we can draw in that young group,
yeah,
and that they can listen to us and take a positive note away from it or not have any bad things said on it, I say let's do it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be 95% family friendly.
Yeah.
That other 5% is because we don't always know what you're going to say.
That's true.
But nonetheless.
It's never anything bad.
Yeah. Like, I love COVID. Do you remember when you said that?
And I explained myself very, very well.
Yeah, you did.
And I think I'd still say it today.
Yeah, you did. Well, let's, I want us to get into a couple of things today. We've got a couple of things to kind of cover and talk about. One of those is what's new. And so we do this every single week, and we just kind of give an update on what's been happening in our world since the last time that we did the podcast. So why don't you start? Do you have anything that's new, anything that's happening since the last time we did the podcast?
Well, I put up my fall decorations.
Okay. Now, what does that mean exactly? Maybe there's somebody out there that they're not real familiar with that. What does that mean, put up fall decorations?
Well, I put out my pumpkins.
Okay.
And my It's Fall, Y'all signs.
It's fall, y'all.
Uh-huh.
So we're from the South.
Yep. And then my sister gave me some scarecrows.
All right.
And so they're sitting on the end tables.
Okay. Now, have they scared anything away?
No. They're cute little scarecrows, little hats. So that's about it.
All right. Okay.
But I will say this.
Okay.
Flipping through the TV last night, I seen Elf playing.
The movie Elf.
And I'm not going to lie. I thought if the TV can play Elf in September, I could put my tree up.
No, that's fake news. That is way too soon.
And honestly, I don't know what I'm waiting on. It's not like you tell me no. I would put the tree up.
Christy.
I love the Christmas tree.
It is way too soon. We haven't had Halloween yet. We just started putting out fall, y'all signs. We can't put a Christmas tree. You can't have a fall, y'all sign and a Christmas tree out.
Says who?
What would kids say that came to our house to trick or treat and they opened the door and there's our Christmas tree? What kind of mental torment would we create for them for the rest of their life if that happened?
They don't come in the house.
No, but our tree is right by the door. And if we open the door and there is a Christmas tree sitting there while we're giving them candy.
I'm not going to lie. I think that happened last trick or treat.
No way.
You don't remember when they come to the door and then they were like, oh, you already have your tree up. You don't remember that?
No, I don't. I must have blocked it out of my mind.
You and I are different on that. But I seen Elf and something in me said,
I feel like every year you want to put the tree up earlier.
I love Christmas.
And earlier.
I love trees. I love the lights. Why not? It makes me happy. Don't you want me to be happy?
I want you to be happy, but can't you be happy with like what we have now?
I'm not happy with Halloween stuff.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that, but
and I'm okay with pumpkins.
I got lights on the floor right here.
I'm happy with the pumpkins and the scarecrows, but you really want to get me excited? Let's put the tree up.
Wow.
And just let the lights twinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Well, what else? What else is new? We're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
I bet you there's some listeners out there saying, "Yes, Christy, let's all put our trees up."
No, we're not starting a movement of.
Hey, if y'all want your trees up, y'all get in contact with me.
No.
I'll give y'all a shout out next week.
Please, no. We're not shouting out people that want to put their tree up entirely too early. That's not going to happen.
It's almost the end of the year. I've waited all year to put it up.
It's September. We still have. It's like the beginning of September. Was it the 11th of September? It's still beginning. It's not even halfway through.
Oh yeah,
September yet.
But it's halfway through the year.
Oh man.
You don't have nothing to say.
I don't. Okay.
I know you don't agree.
I don't. Yeah. I don't think we should do that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not today.
Yeah.
But we'll just see how the rest of the month goes.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. What else is new? What else do you have that's new?
Emma got baptized today.
Yes, she did. That was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That was really exciting. That was a special
moment. Mm-hmm.
That was a special moment for me. I got the opportunity to baptize her at church, and so that was special for me. And we do a really cool baptism like process at our church anyway. Not that any other baptism would not be special, but there's just something unique about the way we do it at our church that I really like it. So you got that going on, and then I got the opportunity to actually baptize her, and so that was exciting. I was happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah, I appreciated the opportunity to do that.
It was a sweet day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really good, and we had 18 people be baptized, which was really good. I mean, really strong.
Yeah.
Day for us. What else? What else would you say is new? What else is happening in your world? Anything new and exciting that's happened for you?
Well, I got called by another name today.
What do you mean another name?
Well, I discovered that some of your family called me another whole name than what my name is.
Okay. All right, explain it. Just explain what you're saying, and then we'll talk about it.
So my brother-in-law comes in Stephanie's office today.
Yeah.
And he says, "What's up, Tina?"
Tina?
Tina.
Okay.
And I was like, looking around, like, who's he talking to? And I was like, he's calling me Tina. And
Did you know that he was talking to you?
I mean, I was the only one in the room, so it was just me.
So, yes. Okay. All right.
And so, yeah. But then I discovered when I mentioned it to you, you weren't surprised.
Yeah.
Our girls weren't surprised.
Right.
The only one surprised by another total name for me was myself.
Okay. You were surprised by it. And I'll say not only were you surprised by it, I think you were, dare I say, maybe bothered. Maybe bothered is not the right way to say it, but you could not let it go. At lunch, you kept bringing it up over and over and over again.
Well, I didn't know that your side of the family was calling me a totally different name.
I don't think it's
like, does your mom know?
I don't know that.
Do you think she calls me Tina when I'm not around?
I doubt it. I think it is my sister's is what I think it is. I don't know where it originated.
Well, I just say it at Christmas time, let's hope Tina has an extra gift under the tree.
Yeah.
Along with the Christies.
So Christy should get a gift and Tina should get a gift.
Yeah.
But all right, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing about this. Anthony, who is my brother-in-law.
I mean, it's totally just a joke.
No.
I mean, it was just something different today.
People call him Tony. Now, I call him Anthony. I very rarely ever call him Tony. But our girls call him Tony. His name is Anthony. And so with that, I think probably it just seems easy
that's
to give you a nickname, which is just Tina.
The thing is this. I didn't know that they'd given me a nickname.
Yeah.
And so the cat was out of the bag today when Tony called me Tina, and I was like, Tina? Well, okay. He called me Tina.
Now,
do
you like that, though? I mean, do you like that name? Should I start calling you Tina?
I mean, no one's ever called me Tina, but so when you say Tina, I'm not thinking y'all talking to me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So you're not saying that you want to adapt that as your
that's
like
not
permanent nickname or anything like that.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know how long they've been calling me Tina.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
But you weren't surprised by it today.
I have heard it before.
Okay.
But I like I said, I've heard it, but I brushed it off because it's like Tony. Anthony is Tony. They call me Stud all the time.
Oh, Stud.
So, Stud. That's what they call me all the time.
Okay.
They say, oh, you know our brother Stud over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do think this, though. I think if you took on the personality of Tina, I think a couple of things. Number one, Tina only needs to speak in third person, and I think Tina should have a deep voice. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. You need to only speak in third person as Tina, and you need to have a deeper voice. So let's say you were hungry, you would come in and say, Tina hungry. Don't you think? Don't you see that as being?
Have you heard my voice?
Try it. Just say Tina hungry. Just try it really quick. Go ahead. Go. Just
Tina hungry. Stupid.
Hold on. Do it again. That was really good. I like it. All right, hold on. Just as deep of a voice as you can get. Tina hungry. Like a Hulk, like Incredible Hulk, like something like that.
Tina hungry. Sounds so silly. Do not clip this.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an Instagram clip.
Okay.
Hey,
anyway, so that's what's new. I just thought being called Tina today was totally.
Being Tina is new.
So anyway.
Okay. All right. I like that. We're going to think of more phrases for Tina to say.
Yeah, I don't think she can say too many in a deep voice.
What about all right. What else? I don't mean to linger this. This is just too good. Tina was like, Tina wanna go, cause like
you act like I'm a robot. Like
no,
it's a robot.
It's like
Tina tired. Tina wanna go to bed. What is so silly? What are we doing?
I like this. I like Tina. I like this as Tina. I think that's your Tina voice.
Tina mad.
Oh man, if you're still here, I'm so sorry. I'd like to.
They're laughing. I guarantee you, they got tears in their eyes like I do. Because it's kind of funny. And I hadn't even looked at myself up there doing Tina.
Yeah, try it one time. Watch yourself.
No, I'm done. Tina's gone.
No, oh man, that's
Tina has left the building.
It really is a shame. I'll say that. I will.
But she may be back.
Maybe.
Since we know what Tina's supposed to sound like.
Do you think Tina will come back before the end of this episode?
Oh no, let's see what we're talking about.
I hope so. I really hope Tina makes it back before the end of this episode.
Well, what's new with you?
I was trying to think of something that was new with me. I had to go to the doctor this week. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun. I mean, other than that, I'm really trying to think. I did lose 0.2 pounds this week.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to that. I'm 0.2 pounds lighter. Now I have eaten a couple of bowls of ice cream with chocolate drizzle since that time. I don't know how well that's going to hold up for next time, but I've had that going on. Other than that, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else new that's happening. I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for you?
No. That's it. All I can think of. So.
Okay. All right. So I mentioned, moving on, I mentioned last week, I think it was last week, I mentioned that I realized something about myself. And this isn't necessarily new. This is kind of something, this is old. I've thought about it, I think, a week or so ago. I mentioned it last week on the podcast. And it's this, that I think I've come to a realization that I am a difficult person. Okay?
Okay.
Now, you're laughing. You're not laughing. You're smiling.
Laughing. Okay.
But here's the deal. Here is the catch. I don't think I am a difficult person. I look at who I am, and I think I am easy breezy. Mm-hmm. I think I'm easy to get along with. I think I'm kind. I think that I'm understanding. That's not what I've realized. Those things that I believe about me are still true. However, I think I have realized that I am not always perceived that way. And I am oftentimes perceived by the people that are closest to me as being somebody that is a difficult person. Mm-hmm. And I think if I pulled all the people that were closest to me, like my immediate family, mm-hmm. the people that I work with, mm-hmm. I think that those people would say, you are difficult, which is a little mind-blowing to me because, in all honesty, I don't feel like I'm a difficult person. So let me just ask you, ask this question, maybe regretfully so, but we got to get into it. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Do you think that I am a difficult person?
I think that you can be difficult.
Okay. All right.
At times.
All right. Explain this to me. Explain it to me a little bit, because in all transparency, we talked about this a little bit. We've talked about this a little bit in preparation for today. And I agree with some of the things that we talked about. We talked about in the car, actually, earlier today. Mm-hmm. I agree with some of the things that I could be difficult in. So just name, just kind of help me a little bit. Name a couple ways that you think I could be difficult.
Well, I think you can be difficult when we don't agree on a situation.
I disagree with that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
You asked, so
yeah. No, I was kidding on that. Okay. Go ahead.
So, we disagree on
most things.
But you can be difficult because you want your way.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it can be frustrating and difficult trying to get my point across.
Okay.
And that may be with other people as well.
Okay.
We all want our way, and we think we're the right, our way's the right way. So. Yeah. And then I think, and you do this jokingly, if you know something that aggravates someone,
yeah,
then you will become difficult because I don't like something some way.
Okay. And
instead of doing it that way, you will do it your way, or you'll joke about it. You'll think it's funny, or you'll continue to do it. And it's a bothersome, or it can be, to us, that's difficult. Just why do you do that? Why are you being that way when you should just, I'm by the rules, just do it the way it's told, just be straight with me. Whereas you may joke about it, make fun about it, do funny things. And to people that aren't jokesters like that, it can be very aggravating. Not necessarily the word difficult.
All right. Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. I thought Emma was talking about it. She chimed in on the subject, shocker, earlier today, and she mentioned something that I agreed with too. And she said that when they're trying to get serious, when she's trying to get a serious answer, I only want to joke and kid with her. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was I agreed with her. Uh-huh. I agreed. I thought that was a good statement. I tend to do that at work a lot. Like there'll be something where somebody will come in, and a lot of times I am a decision maker on a path forward at our work. And so instead of giving like a yes or a no or an up or a down, I will, I'll hem haul around or I'll joke about it.
And some people want it straightforward. Just yes, no. Can I do this? No. Okay, let's figure it out. But you're not that way.
So I think what happens, what I have realized is, and I can't even remember why I realized this, but I genuinely had this thought, was I think what happens is because, again, I do not perceive myself as being difficult. Like I don't. I think that I am the greatest, easiest going, simplest person. Like in my own mind, it's like, it's kind of like that phrase, a legend in someone's own mind. That's the way I feel like I am in personality. Like I am really easy to get along with, to be around, but I also have realized that other people don't always perceive me that way.
And I think you are all those.
I can be.
I think so, but then there's moments where we want you to be serious, straight to the point, quit joking.
Yeah.
And you just go over the line.
I'll say this, though. I do think that sometimes I will joke and I'll kid as a substitute for being serious because I don't want to get into the serious moment. And so my deflection in that is I'll joke and I'll kid because I'm not ready mentally, emotionally, whatever. I'm not ready to get into a serious moment. Like people come in and they're ready to go. Like they're all amped up about something, and I will joke and I'll kid, and they're not in the mood for it. And so then they perceive that I'm being difficult when really I'm not at the level of frustration that they are already. Mm-hmm. And so to avoid, I guess it's an avoidance thing too. And so to avoid trying to get to where they are, handle their issue, I'll kid and joke about it just because I'm not ready to be that serious yet. Mm-hmm. So I think that, but the reality is this. So here's why I thought this would be a good conversation, is because the truth is everybody has difficult people that they have to deal with. And so whether that's a spouse, whether it's a coworker, somebody that you love, maybe it's a child. I have a child. One of the ways that I think that I have realized this, and this is 100% true, one of the ways that I think that I have realized that I am a difficult person is because I am raising a difficult person who acts just like me. Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the biggest, in all seriousness, that's one of the biggest eye-opening experiences when you are dealing with someone that is just like you are and they are difficult. I see that, and then I think I am that way too. I do that too.
But you would think you would understand that. Like, Emma's a lot like me.
Yeah.
And I understand sometimes her thought process. I understand her, so.
I understand it. Mm-hmm. But
then you're realizing, wow, I can be really difficult.
I understand it and I see it, but I also recognize it as very true inside of me. Mm-hmm. And so, so whatever it is that whatever your difficult person is, the truth is we can all deal with difficult people, and difficult people, it can be different things. There can be people that are intentionally difficult. I don't think I'm always intentionally difficult. I think I am unintentionally difficult. But there are people that are intentionally difficult. They intend to make things tough. They feel like it is their mission and it is their purpose on this planet to give other people a hard time, to not make things easy. I don't think I am that. I don't feel like I'm that. But I think I can be frustrating to people. But the truth is, we all deal with difficult people. And so the question is, how do we handle, when we are dealing with difficult people, how do we handle that? So I found an article. It's actually it's on a website called lifehack.org. Okay. Lifehack.org. And the title of this article, it's just a little blog post. It's really simple. It says how to deal with, words are tough today. How to deal with difficult people, 10 expert techniques. So this isn't just some random person that just put it on the internet. This obviously is an expert because they put 10 expert techniques.
All right, let's see what they say.
Okay, so here's 10 ways that we can deal with difficult people, whether it's intentional, they're intentionally difficult, unintentionally difficult. I think it can apply potentially. We'll see what it says. Number 1 is use lots of kindness. Do you think kindness works with difficult people?
It may. It's tough to be kind to difficult people, though. Just be honest.
No, I agree. That article actually says this, and it actually reads, I thought it was really good. It says, when dealing with difficult people, the gut reaction is to be difficult right back. And so I think that's true. Is oftentimes we want to respond difficult to a difficult. It's the same thing. If somebody hurts me, I want to hurt them back. Somebody does me wrong, I want to do them wrong. I want to do wrong to them back. I want to get even.
It's hard to be nice to people that may not be nice to you. And I know that it's the right thing to do, to be nice to people that hurt you and are mean or difficult. But my reaction is that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Just my reaction.
No, I agree. It is difficult to... It's very challenging to be nice to someone that has not been nice, because you want to show them you're not going to treat me like that. But I think there is a lot of pride inside of that response. A lot of pridefulness that comes out of, you did me wrong, so I'm going to do you wrong. And so we have to be mindful of that and be guarded against it. How, and as Christians, I think we have to respond to difficult people in the same way that that Jesus would want us to. Is if somebody's difficult to us, how would he want us to respond back? Well, he would want us to respond in kindness. So number 2 is be compassionate. So be kind, but be compassionate. Are you compassionate with difficult people?
I try to be. Again, I guess I'm looking at like when you say that you're difficult, of course, I guess there's different difficulties.
There's obviously different levels.
Of course, I can be compassionate with your difficulty that we're talking about. It's 2 different difficulties that come to my mind.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at more of a difficult person that may hurt you or just be mean or whatever.
Sure, I think that applies.
So those are difficult to do. But I say, if your heart's right with the Lord, then you will show some type of compassion eventually if you work at it, pray on it. Well, it will come.
Compassion,
and sometimes it takes time, but
no, it does. Compassion too also comes from a place of trying to, the best of our ability, be able to understand why that person is not the way they are, but we don't know what kind of day they had.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe you're dealing with a difficult person that you don't know.
And I mean, you could have a difficult person at the grocery store checking you out.
100%. Yeah.
And so, yeah, be a little nice and
or a person that's behind you that's being difficult, or in front of you
Right.
that's being. It's not always someone that we know. We encounter difficult people all the
Right.
time, and I think there's a level of compassion that has to go in play where instead of us, I think our gut reaction is that person's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
When the reality is they're not always jerks.
They're just not having a good
They're
day.
just maybe they're the most wonderful person in the world. They're just having a really, really tough day. I tell you what, I had a perfect example is when I worked at Verizon. We had just a quick story. Had a lady come in one day and she wanted to pay her bill. I told her she said, "How much is it?" I told her what it was. She didn't like the amount. I don't know if it surprised her or what happened, but she had one of those. You know those liquor bags, like the purple liquor bags? She had one of those that was full of change, and she dumped it on the counter and said, "You count." She said, basically, figure out what I got to pay and count it. Mm-hmm. And so change is everywhere. I obviously am like, oh.
The difficult person you are.
Oh, I was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I am very quick to react. I am very quick to react difficulty with difficulty.
Right.
And I remember my manager walked over. I think he saw that I was getting escalated with this situation. And I remember he patted me on the shoulder. He said, "Yo, we'll figure it out. We'll count it. So we start gathering up all the change. Well, over time, I mean, obviously it took us a minute because we had change everywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, over the next couple minutes, the lady's demeanor just completely changed. And she walked back over to the counter. She said, "Hey, I want to apologize." And she started helping collect the change. And her husband had just died. She didn't know how much the bill was. Mm. She had been all day out handling different different aspects of business that she didn't know anything about. And she genuinely did not know what this bill was. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you hear that the response to that changes immediately.
Right.
Because now I know that this lady is in a really, really dark and difficult place. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know that until she told me. And if she had never told me, I'd have just thought, man, this lady's a jerk. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be a level of compassion that kicks in that people are the way they are, whether it's something right now or it's something that has been. And people are battling and they're dealing. And so it's important to show levels of compassion inside of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
So, all right, number 3 is try to find something in common with somebody that's difficult. Try to find something in common, like maybe a common ground, something that you can agree on. If it, maybe the difficulty is something that you don't agree on. What is something that you can agree on? Can you at least agree on this one thing or on this one point? Okay. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say you'd have to try it. All these are new to me, so I'm just listening.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just listening to what
I
you're
think
saying.
what you're trying to do inside of that is you're trying to find something that you can build on top of. So you may not agree with the total idea of what somebody is saying, but what is one point to the conversation that you can agree on and build on that? Lily and I had a conversation this week, and it was, she was thinking one thing, I was thinking another thing, and I said, we had the conversation. I said, and there was a point that was brought up. I said, I can agree with that. Mm-hmm. I agree with what you're saying there. And from that, it built a conversation that we walked away from, and I think she felt good about and I felt good about.
Yeah, I agree.
So you want to find something in common to the best of your ability when it's possible. Number 4, and this is really important, is just stay calm. I think I find this easy. I'm not someone that gets riled up all of the time. I can oftentimes, except for when I'm driving. When I'm driving, I am off the chain. Mm-hmm. But I think I have you don't want to get too riled up. You just kind of want to just Stay calm. The person is being difficult. There's a challenge. You're having a tough conversation. Don't get riled up in that conversation. Just stay calm. Don't let your emotions take control.
Sometimes when the difficult person is being difficult and then the calm person is too calm, then that gets the difficult person more riled up because you're just easy.
You feel like they don't care.
Easy breezy, you know.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where number 5 comes in. Number 5, I think, goes with that is I think you have to be able to share your side.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes is where some difficulties come in because one person wants to share their side and the other person doesn't feel like they're being heard or that they're getting the opportunity to be understood or that their side is not being shared adequately. Mm-hmm. And so I think some frustration can come in on that.
Well, we too, when we disagree, we talk about the bottle story, and we can't get into that today, but you see one side of the bottle, I see the other, and look at what I'm seeing, and then I look at what you're seeing, or any circumstance, to see that they may see something way different than what you see.
Yeah.
I
think, all right, so also those conversations, let's say, the difficulty with this subject is there's so many different scenarios.
There's a lot of difficulty, people.
There are a lot of difficulties. All right, let me just I want to just share this one. So I mentioned earlier that we had a tough conversation. Lily and I had a tough conversation the other day. But that conversation did not happen until the day after she and I had a disagreement with one another. She wanted to do something. I didn't want her to do it. And so the reason we had the conversation was ultimately like, yo, we're not going to keep operating like this. Like I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. Let's figure this out. And so it didn't happen at the time, but when she was calm and I was calm, we sat down and I said, here's what I'm frustrated about. And I said, I don't want you to say anything. I want to say all the things that I'm feeling. And I did. Mm-hmm. And I even told her, I said, yo, some of these things may not even be right. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you what I feel. And so I told her all the things. And I said, okay, I want you to tell me all the things you're frustrated about, what it is that you're feeling, and I'm not going to say a word. Mm-hmm. And she did.
Right.
And that gave us both the opportunity to say everything that we wanted to say without there being interruption. But that did not happen in the moment. It happened later after the initial disagreement and frustration had taken place.
Well, and that can happen at work too. You may have a disagreement with your boss or whoever, anybody listening, with someone, and you may have to walk away and then come back and be rational and have a conversation.
I have had that happen with I've had that happen with my boss, with my pastor at church before, where we would disagree, and ultimately he's the boss. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned earlier, I always think I'm right. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, I'll push and I'll push and I'll push.
And that's where people may say that you're a difficult person.
I get that.
For sure.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. Mm-hmm. And so there have been moments where we have had arguments and we've had frustrations. We've had moments where we've stormed out of rooms before. It doesn't happen often.
No.
But I mean, we have been friends for 30 years. Like we have been like brothers for a long, long time. We have worked together for currently 7 years. We've worked together previously.
Right.
But we were equals at that point. There's going to be disagreements. I mean, it's going to happen. It's not like I'm wrong. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with him. It's just the way it goes. And we've had moments where we've had to back off and then come back later and figure it out. You and I have had conversations like that. I've had conversations with our kids. I can't tell you how many times I walked into our kids' rooms and been like, yo, Dad lost it. I shouldn't have said what I said. I shouldn't have acted the way I acted. I shouldn't have screamed. I'm sorry. Dad lost it. I had a conversation this past week. And I was in a meeting, and I knew that I shouldn't have said something, and I ended up like, it was like I saw the words, and I was like, no, come back, words. And I had to apologize. I said, yo, I knew I shouldn't have said it. I did it. I should have handled this conversation privately like we're doing now. So the time but your side has to be heard. And so whatever it is, if and I will say this, if you are not in a situation where your side can be heard, or you're not allowing the other person's side to be heard, that is an unhealthy relationship. Mm-hmm. Whether that is with a spouse, with a coworker, in a job, whatever it may be, if the situation is not so much that both sides don't get the opportunity to share, that is an unhealthy relationship, and there needs to be something majorly done inside.
Well, it's
of
one-sided. I mean, the one side's always heard, while the other side never gets to say anything.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say that, and I would say that's where number 6 comes in, which is treat with respect.
I agree.
Even someone that is difficult deserves to be respected. They don't deserve to be downplayed. They don't deserve to be made fun of. They don't deserve to be there doesn't need to be condescending remarks made. There don't need to be snarky remarks made. All of those things are signs of immaturity, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, when those things, when there's a difficult situation and somebody's real snarky or condescending about it, it's really more of a sign of immaturity than anything else.
Right.
But the other thing is, it's also a sign of lack of respect. Mm-hmm. And if I don't respect someone enough and value them to show them respect, to not talk about them, to not make fun of them, to not be condescending to them, the problem then is me and not them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how difficult they are. The problem then is mine and not theirs, regardless of what anybody else does.
And that's how your reaction to them shows that you're in the wrong.
Number 7, what do you think about this? It just says ignore them. What do you think about this one?
I think ignoring them would be a good idea. I think it'd probably drive the person that is difficult crazy that you're ignoring their stupidity.
All right, so
that's just my thought.
Here's my challenge. And I know that I have to look at this from different perspectives, but I have been in a work situation before where I worked with someone that I felt was difficult. I think they felt like I was difficult. Mm-hmm. And I would ignore them to the best of my ability. Now I became their supervisor, like the person that had oversight over them, but I didn't want to deal with them.
That's hard too. When, again, we're talking about different levels of difficult people. I mean, family, workplace, store clerks, whatever. But in a workplace, it'd probably be hard to ignore the difficult person all the time, because I don't think anything will ever get resolved if you ignore them all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I think it depends on what the situation is. Mm-hmm. In that particular situation, I was wrong for it. Mm-hmm. Because nothing ever got resolved.
I mean, it's nice to not talk to difficult people, just to ignore them, but I just don't know if anything will ever get resolved if you constantly ignore the problem in the room.
That's right. And that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say, was in this particular case, I would walk down a different hallway to avoid their office, to have to even walk by their office. I would go the long way just to avoid. And I was wrong for that.
It's like pushing something under the rug.
Yes.
Trying to forget about it, but when you move the rug back, it's still there.
Well, because it was something that needed to be dealt with, and we never, we didn't at that time. Now, we did eventually, and that, and different things happened, but at the time, there was nothing being dealt with. It was the same chaos over and over. Now, if there was a difficult person in a store, or a difficult, someone that I didn't have an ongoing relationship with, ignore them. Social media.
Well, for instance, my sister went through Chick-fil-A the other week, and normally you have to go all the way around the building to get to it. I know this is totally off point what we're talking about, but instead of going all the way around, she just went through the little area because there was no cars there, and an elderly person beside her called her a bad word. And
what was the word?
I can't say the word.
Okay,
it's family friendly,
okay.
But and she could have really. That could have bothered her, and I'm sure it bothered her a little bit because we don't like people to call us names.
Sure.
But she probably ignored it. She said if she could have, she would have paid for his meal just with some kindness. A difficult person. But, those kind of difficult people.
Yeah, I think in that situation, ignore that. That doesn't need to run your day. You need to.
Because it could ruin your day.
You don't need to let it control your thoughts. You don't need to give it power and control over your emotions and your thoughts. That's a person that, again, you don't know what they're going through. Don't let it run your day.
Right.
Another thing that I think we should do on ignore is I think we should ignore responding to things on social media. I'll give you an example. The other day, I saw something on social media that I did not agree with. It was a comment about something that I knew was wrong. I knew it was wrong, and I knew the person that posted the comment. And I actually sat there and typed out an entire response to what they said, and then I realized something. I have never in my entire life responded to anything that this person has said before. Mm-mm. Ever. Mm-hmm. So why in the world would I respond now? And so, as much as I didn't want to, because what I said, I was about to put them in their place. Believe you me, it was about to go down. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But I walked away. I said, you know what? I've never responded to this person. This is social media. This is a social media response. They're not going to hear what I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times people post stuff.
I'm not going to change this person's opinion with my comment, even though it was a really good response to what they said.
You're going to have to tell me about it later.
I'm not going to change their opinion.
You're going to tell me later?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay, good.
And so I just chose to ignore it. And so I think in those cases, those are good reasons to ignore. But I think if it's an ongoing relationship, it's completely unhealthy to ignore. Mm-hmm. All right, number 8, control what you can. And I like this one because I think there's actually a biblical principle in this, which is do what you can do, and what you can't do, trust God with. Mm-hmm. So just do what you can do, and what you can't, what you don't have any control over, just trust God with that. Number 9, and we already kind of hit this, which is look at yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you responding? Are you handling this right? Is your mindset right? Is your perspective right? Are you allowing the other person to share their side? Are you able to make a true decision because you've gotten a 360 look at this entire situation? Are you in the wrong? Like, where is it? I think we have to look at ourselves first, and I think we have to look at ourselves before we ever look at somebody else. Mm-hmm. It's more important for us to look at ourselves before we look at anybody else.
Well, the problem is we always think we're right.
That is true. But if we're really honest, we know that we're not always right.
But our first initial reaction is,
100%.
Well, I'm right. They did this to me.
Well, that's what the Bible says. We have to be quick to listen, but slow to speak.
I think I do that.
You think you do that?
Mm-hmm. Do you think I do that?
I think you do okay at that. Sometimes.
I don't think I lash. I think I listen way more than I actually
sometimes
speak.
Within our house, you like to run your mouth.
Oh, well, I'm just getting my point across.
Yeah, but there are moments.
I mean, there's situations where I really want to say what I think,
and you don't. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think I'm a difficult person?
I cannot answer that question on a recorded podcast.
We got too much time?
I'm just kidding. I think that here's what I honestly think. I think everybody is difficult in their own way.
Okay.
I think that I don't think that you're a difficult person. Now, you do not. All right, we'll bring this up. You do not like to decide where to eat, but then you always say, I don't care. And then you never want to go where it is we say. So you do care. And that can be difficult.
Okay.
You do care.
Well, you normally name nasty places.
Because you always say, I don't care. And so my first place is Taco Bell.
Your first place is to pick
Taco Bell.
all the nasty places around the area.
Because
you know
I
I'm
know
gonna,
that you care.
You know I'm going to say no to.
All right, I do
so that's
say-
where you become a difficult
I do say
person.
that on purpose because I know that you care. Because I really want you to just tell me what you want. Because I genuinely do not care.
Yeah, that's not true.
It is true.
I'm sure I'd name somewhere and you wouldn't like it either.
We'll try it next time. All right, number 10.
Okay.
Overcome your fear of conflict. What do you think about that? Do you like to handle conflict?
I don't. I'm not a conflict kind of person. Now, if you ever catch me on the fly and there's conflict, I can handle it. I think we've said that before.
You do have a knee-jerk reaction to conflict that is like very bold.
I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? But I'm not one that'll just walk right into conflict.
If you have to contemplate and think about a tough conversation, you really stress about it.
But when you catch me off guard,
When you catch me outside, bro, you better watch out.
And then I'm like, where did that come from?
No, that's true.
That's Tina right there.
Uh-oh, that's Tina.
Tina coming out.
Tina mad.
So funny.
No, that's true. That is true for you. You are a knee-jerk reaction. You don't care. You let it fly. Mm-hmm. But if you have to contemplate it,
I will push it off on you.
Physically nauseous.
Yeah, I will push it off on you easy.
Yeah.
To avoid it.
I don't love conflict either, but I have learned through my job, and I have learned through being married and having kids that those things, you cannot let conflict sit unresolved. It has to be resolved. And I don't love it. I don't wake up and think, I can't wait to have a difficult conversation today. But I'm also genuinely,
and a lot of times
I'm not afraid of it.
It's not as bad as we sit and think about in our heads either.
No, it's not.
I mean, we go through
Well, I think if you
different scenarios and they'll be like, man, that wasn't that hard.
If you handle the conversation and all the things that we just said,
I agree.
In all if you use all the aspects we said inside of conflict and difficult conversations, and I'll tell you a phrase that I heard that I really like, and I use it often. It is, I want to have a courageous conversation with you. And the reason I say that is because it's going to take me courage to say it, and it's going to take you courage to hear it. But it's something that needs to be dealt with. And so there's a lot of times I'll start difficult conversations like that. I'll say, hey, I want us to have a courageous conversation.
Oh, boy.
And then Tina's about to be mad. Oh, wait, I'm not Tina. My bad. I think I'm more excited about being Tina than you are.
Yeah, I think so.
So that is handling difficult people. And we mentioned this before. There are so many different spectrums. There are so many different perspectives of difficulty and dealing with difficult people. But I think maybe you're someone that struggles with handling difficult people or handling difficult situations. Maybe that can be some baseline, just kind of helps for you. Hopefully so. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you feel encouraged by that.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And just remember there's difficult people in different scenarios.
100%.
Because I couldn't think of just the one all the time because you will come in contact with different difficult people everywhere. So
no, that's true.
And I would agree that what they were telling us to do, kindness, compassion, ignoring, there's just some that I remember right off the top of my head.
You like the ignoring the most, don't you?
Well, I mean, I don't like to talk to a lot of people anyway, so if there's someone difficult and I can ignore them.
So whether someone's difficult or not, you like to ignore them.
Now, I'm not a bad person that just ignore everybody.
You were bad. I just said you like to ignore them.
Maybe avoid conversation. Maybe just avoidance.
Isn't that ignoring? Is avoidance and ignoring the same thing?
No, because you could be in a room and ignore somebody.
Oh, okay.
And that's the worst, to be in a room and not talk to someone. That happened the other day. You and Lily and not speaking. You know, you weren't saying anything to her. That's ignoring. To avoid means you don't even want to be in the same room with them, and that's avoiding. Oh, you're in here? Well, I'm going in there, you know?
I think we need to Google the definitions at some point. Maybe that'll be the next podcast.
Goodness.
The difference between ignoring and avoiding.
Well, let's find something good to talk about.
All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you. That's about it. That's all we got for today. And so, man, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending the last couple of minutes here with us. And hopefully you've heard something that's helped you. Hopefully you've laughed a little bit. And if you've made it this far, send us a thumbs up DM. Like, if we just get a thumbs up DM on our Instagram.
You made it to the end.
That means you made it to the end and we know you're a real one.
Yes.
So you can find us on Instagram, Chris Lots, Christy Lots, both there, same spelling as the podcast. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get a thumbs up, but also love to hear from you just what you thought. Maybe you're dealing with a difficult person. Christy'd love to help you with that. So send all of those messages to Christy, and she'll give you all of the wise wisdom that she has to handle those.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll see what I can do.
There you go. But no, we really would love to hear from you. Maybe some feedback, maybe what you think, what you like, what didn't you like, content, topic ideas, something you'd love to hear us chat about. So, man, we would really appreciate that. So, man, that's all we got. Let me say one more thing, too. If you are, whatever platform that you're listening on, maybe you're watching or listening on Spotify, maybe you're on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or Google Podcast, or any of the other platforms that you can find the podcast, why don't you leave us a review? Make sure you hit the follow button so you always know when our next episodes are. And, yeah, that's it. Any final great words for you, Christy?
Tina out.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, we love you. Again, we really appreciate you hanging out with us. And until next time, see ya.
See ya.